Yo, this is Chester Watson, and you're listening to Cabbages podcast. Yes, sir.
Well, hey there, Jeff. How's it going?
Hi, Gary. I don't know, man. I don't know how it's going. I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
You know how it's going.
How long was this movie? We watched Blood Brother,
Blood Brother.
not hardly at all starring R Truth,
No, including our truth,
but
containing
also
our
is
truth.
the only movie that R Truth gets this much screen time and talking. Right? Didn't
Yeah.
you tell me that at some point?
Yeah. I did some research and kind of on the films he was in, and mostly he did some cameos, but he had not actually had much of the way. Like he has some lines in The Wrestler,
This
opposite,
is a bad film.
Mickey Rourke. But no, 80. This is a film that's 86 minutes long.
Couldn't get that down to 75. I was thinking the whole time it felt really long, but then I looked up and was like, oh, that was less than standard movie length.
It felt long, and also not enough happens in it
I
that
think the reason it felt
warrants
long
the
is just
runtime.
like a lot of expository writing and kind of just needless talking when action would probably be at least something that moves us to care about these people.
I mean, you're asking for people to care about a film starring Trey Songz. That's a big ask. And it's
People
pre-
like Trey Songz,
and
right?
it's yeah, like his
He's always
music.
been a dude that I know who Trey Songz is. I have no doubt listened to a bunch of Trey Songz
Of course, Trey Songz
songs.
songs.
Trey Songz
Songs.
songs,
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 songs.
songs. But
I
you've
have
not
listened to those, and
but
I
you've
don't
not
think it's very. It doesn't stick out in my mind. Like even Neo
yeah.
sticks out in a couple of places, but with Trey Songz, I'm like, what do I remember about this career that happened at the one of the zeniths of me listening to radio music?
Yeah, he's kind of part of that experience, but I mean, we're not getting what we need from him in this thing. So thank God we've got a good guest coming up to talk about this movie.
Very excited about that.
We got Chester Watson, an absolutely talented artist, and I'm thrilled to be able to talk to him today.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, we got to talk to him about Blood Brother. So we'll be right back. All right. I am excited to introduce our guest for today's show. Joining us now is Chester Watson. You might know this Georgia rapper producer from his string of projects for P.O.W. recordings. That's Passion of the Weiss, FYI. Starting with 2016's Past Cloaks and then subsequent releases like Fish Don't Climb Trees. His latest is a terrific compilation called Psychic Warfare Department, with features by the likes of Archibald Slim and Gabe Nandez. And he also dropped a single because obviously we got to feed the streets called Tinnitus, which you should definitely check out too. Now you can cop all of that right now on Bandcamp or wherever music is streamed or sold. Hello, Chester, and welcome to the show.
Yo, thank you for having me. What's up? What's up?
It's a pleasure to have you on, man. Obviously, I feel like I think maybe it was 2 years ago you did a show you headlined at Elsewhere at Zone One in Brooklyn. And we were there for that show. That was a pretty
That
stacked
way.
lineup. It was you, it was Gabe Nandez,
Gabe was
and
there,
and,
yeah.
and Feek and Lungs.
Yep, Feek and Lungs. Yep, that was the first time I actually met them.
It was a top to bottom solid bill.
That
You
was a
know,
rocker.
I sort of feel bad that it was the first time that I'd seen you live because I feel like there were opportunities to have caught you over the years before that. But it was I feel like a good time in your career in terms of what you were doing, kind of what you would put out at the time to really get that opportunity to connect. So that way, when this latest project came out, I was ready for it. I was prepared for what we were going to get. And even then, there's a lot of surprises on this project. There's a lot of interesting stuff. You do some interesting things that even people won't even expect from you, people who are familiar with your
Thank
work,
you.
which I guess is intentional in the sense that you're trying to do something that's expansive in this. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank you for you taking the time to listen and check it out. And yeah, I definitely wanted to try some different things than what I normally do with the music. Kind of take a back seat in a way on my own project. Um, so which was kind of an unorthodox idea at first, but it started to kind of make more sense as it made more sense, as I worked on it and kind of fleshed it out. But yeah, it was definitely a journey for sure, and I'm glad that that is kind of translated in a way.
You know, you could have referred to it as kind of taking a back seat a bit. I mean, obviously, kind of you're focused more on the production side. You've got other vocalists in play that come in there. And I wish that more people took a back seat on this movie that we watched. I wish that more people had just taken
I think we have to
stepped back.
do the Cabbages thing, do the right thing for
Okay.
Cabbages listeners,
Mm,
viewers, and for our guest and say, I'm sorry. We're
yeah.
sorry. We're
Yeah,
sorry
man.
for what we did.
We
There is
we
contrition here.
I'm gonna say it's an I'm sorry, but there is an asterisk next to it.
Okay.
And that asterisk is that like we really tried with this one. Cause like we were having conversations over email, you and I, Chester. We were trying to find the thing that made sense, so that we could have a good conversation. And in that conversation, we kind of talked about a number of things, but among that, we talked about kind of the WWE particularly and its sort of historically shabby treatment of African American wrestlers. Just the fact of the matter is that. And so that has extended into cinema because other than, say, The Rock, what we've really found for the most part is that when we've watched these movies, when there are black wrestlers who are showing up in these films that we've been doing so far this season, it's usually not a good look. And even when they have a significant role, we started off the season with No Holds Barred, and you've got Tiny Lister as Zeus starting it out. He's painted in a very, very terrible light. He's a
Barbaric.
caricature of a man in that film. And it's just hard to watch a second time around because we do tend to watch these things twice. So I thought with R Truth, who's a veteran wrestler who has been in some other films before, he'd been in two films that I recognized as on some level people have seen and enjoyed. He has a cameo in Chris Rock's Head of State. He's
Mhm.
got a cameo with a speaking part in Darren Aronofsky's The Wrestler, which is a film we may end up watching for the season at some point. But this film, Blood Brother, is the most screen time and the most dialogue he's gotten in any movie. So all I want to say is, man, is we tried to find something that
Gave it a
would
shot.
give us the conversation we wanted to have, and I still think we can have it, but it is definitely
We
hard. It's definitely hard with what Vince McMahon has
I
given
saw it
us.
before Gary. Gary and I text during the film when we watch it, and at some point, the first scene with our truth comes up pretty early in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, do not, I told him, like, do not get used to our truth because he's gone for the next hour. We're not going
Yeah.
to see him again for like 45 minutes to an hour. I'm sorry
For
to tell you, buddy,
for a movie
for as
that's
much
less
as we
than
hyped our truth being in this movie, he's in there for a bit. He's in there for a little tiny bit.
And it's not a long movie either. It's like
No.
less than an hour and a half. It's like an hour 26.
Yeah.
And get we get two scenes at R-Truth.
Get a lot of Trey songs though.
A
A
lot of
lot of
Trey
Trey
A
songs.
songs.
lot of Trey songs.
Before we get into Trey songs, but I just want to get a sense because we've been asking our guests on this thing sort of what their relationship has been with wrestling as a fan. Was wrestling something that you followed at any point in your life? Were you familiar with R-Truth as a wrestler? Sort of kind of where do you fit in sort of wrestling fandom?
Oh yeah, man. So WWE was a pretty big part of my childhood. Early on, my older brother, he had a whole bunch of like WWE action figures.
Mm.
Hmm.
And so he passed those down to me when I was like 5. And so I kind of learned WWE through his collection of action figures that I
Hmm.
got. And so I had like Kane, like, and these were like 90s action figures, you know what I mean? So I had like Kane, I had The Undertaker, I remember I had The Rock. And then from there, I started to get my own understanding of it. And, you know, I probably was watching it heavy up until like middle school. And then kind of like waned off of it when I started like skating and stuff and like not really watching TV that much.
Mm.
But before then, I was super WWE'd out. Like the only two things of action figures that well, three were like Marvel, G.I. Joe, and WWE. And so it
Hmm.
was like pretty big. Me and the homie, when I moved to Florida, that was like our connecting point was that we both like Jeff Hardy.
Mm.
And well, the Hardy Boys in general. So we were like the
Hmm.
Hardy Boys basically. And so yeah, Jeff Hardy and how eccentric he was with how he represented himself and how he was kind of like a high flyer. I call those guys high flyers, like him, Rey Mysterio, but his style of high flying was like it felt like very rebellious in a lot of ways. So
Mm.
yeah, definitely inspired by WWE and in a lot of ways from a kid for sure.
As we talked on the show before, sort of Jeff is the wrestling expert of the two of us for sure. Jeff, what can you kind of tell us for those who are less familiar about R-Truth specifically, about Ron Killings and kind of his history with
So
WWE and
our
and, T-
truth
and even T- and TNA
traverses,
too? Yeah.
yeah, our truth traverses sort of a space where I was not watching a lot of wrestling the first time around. He was in WWE, moved to TNA, moved back to WWE, and this move back to WWE, he's found this little like niche. Basically, his character doesn't really understand how wrestling works.
Okay.
And it leads to like really funny situations. I'll give you my favorite example is the way that the Royal Rumble is set up is you get the women's Royal Rumble, some matches, and then the men's Royal Rumble.
Okay.
So he was in the men's Royal Rumble. He came out like they introduced, I forget what number it is. I think it's 30 per. It was like number 19 or something. 19 is called in the women's Royal Rumble, and he runs out.
Mm.
And he doesn't notice that all of them are women. He goes to climb into the ring, and all of the women stop what they're doing. They're like, "What are you doing out here? What is wrong with you?" And he's like, "What's going on?" And this other, finally, a ref comes up and is like, "This is the women's Royal Rumble. You can't be here." And he was like, "Come on, man!" And he storms off. Then when his number gets pulled in the men's Royal Rumble, you know who it is because he's already given it
You
away.
already
And like
eliminated.
part of the mystique of the Royal Rumble is you don't know when people are coming for the most part. Uh, you get this beautiful mystery of like who's the next person, who's the next person, who's the next person. But you knew who it was because our truth already gave it away, which is
Yeah.
funny. He did this all the time. He would mix up wrestler names, so he would come out for what he thought was a title match and be fully unprepared because it would be a totally different person. There'd be no title on the line. He'd be really confused, and people would have to explain it to him on the mic. And he's very funny on the mic. As far as like, I just haven't watched a ton of our Truth's matches.
Hmm.
He's obviously good enough to have stuck around wrestling his whole career, which is cool,
Yeah.
and can
Because he's
handle
still with
himself
it.
on the mic enough to like have a funny gimmick that works, which like so many wrestlers now don't really have gimmicks.
Yeah.
They go by their names, they come out, they wrestle, they say tough talk, and they leave. And he's above that in a very real way.
But he's still in WWE, right? Like he's still an
Correct.
active
They
wrestler.
recently had a thing where they cut him and the whole internet went nuts and then they signed him the next day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like it was obviously, a work that
Right.
they just wanted people to talk about the R Truth character. And then there was this whole thing with John Cena where Cena was like challenging him and stuff, and then he got cut and they came back and wrestled John Cena, and yada yada. But yeah, they have kept him around for a long time. I mean, he's a staple.
I mean, that's good. And it's like, this film is a WWE production. This is from
Yeah.
WWE Studios, kind of in collaboration with the Lionsgate division called Code Black Entertainment, which I think by the name you can probably guess who they were kind of targeting this film towards.
Marines?
Yes, exactly. This is the Code. And it is. I was able to kind of look through some of the other films, but this was like the only film that those two units came together on. So that was Code Black and WWE Studios. And so he's the only wrestler represented in this film. Most of the people in this film, there are more rappers than wrestlers in this film. Of course, that is without saying anything about our Truth Ron Killings' career in music, which is another factor in here. His most recent stuff is more in a country music vein, kind of doing sort of that, style, that mixture of hip hop infused into country music that's become quite popular. But prior to that,
Is there a
he's
particular, have we assigned a name to that? Is it like country hop or something like that?
I mean,
Hipstry?
I feel like there aren't any music critics left to give things names anymore.
Yeah, maybe that's good.
So
Maybe
so
that's best.
I think we're just calling it country music and feeling okay about that.
Cool. I'm cool
We're
with
just
that.
like it's country music, and
Yeah.
it's country music, and now artists can use auto tune in country music, and it's okay. It's fine. But I went back and listened to some of his stuff as well. Have you guys engaged at all with his catalog as an artist? Just we're all music people here, so I figured there might be something there.
I went and I checked out like one song, but I saw his cover and the cover was crazy. It was
Mhm.
like the Air Force One cowboy boot and then morphing into the rainbow cowboy boot. It was sick. So I had to listen to at least one song. Not my cup of tea, but the
Yeah.
cover itself is fire. I like the cover and I like the vision of like, oh, we got this literally Air Force One cowboy boot with like a slight heel in the Air Force One part of the sole is kind of crazy. So that tripped me out. But other than that, I didn't really dive into it. I just feel like his vision is definitely uh funny. Like I don't know if it was meant to be like that, but that's definitely how it came off. It came off
I
very
think there's both intentional and unintentional comedy going on in the music for sure.
I would say minutes before we hopped on this conversation, I was looking some stuff up and I came across a like at this time just released on the radar freestyle appearance by R Truth. Like
what?
posted
How'd it
two
go?
hours before we got on
I
the
missed
like
this.
posted 2 hours ago. Like
That's
Oh,
crazy.
that's why I missed
just
it. Yeah, I didn't
it's
know.
just so like I was like being like, let me check one last thing because I want to hear some of the stuff that's more country. And I heard the single. It's a version of the single. There's a guitarist who doesn't seem to be playing the same song, based on just again, I'm not a guitarist, so I can't really speak specifically to it, but it doesn't seem like what this guitarist with headphones was playing the same bit. There was a DJ. There were there's like a couple hype men behind him, and then him, I guess, singing and sing rapping the song, which has that very much that kind of very country feel to it, which is definitely kind of in that popular vein. But I I was sort of struck by the fact that when looking at that and looking at the visuals from this project and the previous project he put out, which definitely is more of a hip hop style, definitely more in
Hmm.
that vein. Like I looked at all that and I said to myself, why were there no R Truth songs in this movie? Why
Not
were there
one.
no Trey songs
No Trey
in this
Songz.
movie? Why were there no, spoiler alert, Fetty Wap songs? In
Normally,
this movie?
when we watch these movies, the credits sort of reveal the mystery,
Yeah,
right? Like they solve the mystery for us. You
sure.
watch the credits and it's like these people are all on this label and this label is like partially released by this thing that's owned by the, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
something happens and we can figure it out. I've never heard of any of the people. All of the rap songs seem to be, let me put this delicately.
Okay. All of them are courtesy of True Music.
They're yeah, they're rap songs in that they go through the motions of being rap songs.
Mm.
They
Mm.
say some things that other rap songs have said, popular rap songs especially. There's not exactly a lot of rhyme scheme in these songs. There's not a lot of cleverness in these songs. They're just like someone put a beat together and our the rappers in our stable are going to deliver some hip hop esque rhymes or hip hop esque lines.
Yeah.
And that's what makes them songs, I guess.
Mm.
But they're
I
not very good.
No, and they're
They
mostly
rarely are.
background in this. But like there's a lot of weird choices in this film. I mean, we're about to really get into it. But the music is one of them because like you have three people who make music, who have catalogs of music presented as actors in this film. And usually when we watch films like this and there's somebody within there, inevitably there's something. We watched a movie prior on a previous episode where Kid Rock's sister is in the movie.
Mm,
And there are two Kid Rock songs in the movie. Now, it came out in 2000. It was appropriate kind of for that time, kind of when that was, when you would have heard, Cowboy, for example, is
mm.
then. But I'm like surprised in this that you don't get that in the same way. And I have to ask this question. At what point, Chester, did you figure out where this movie takes place? Or did you at any point figure out where this movie takes place?
Yeah, it's in New Orleans, right?
It is.
Yeah. I want to say it was towards the end of the movie. They panned out because at first there was one shot that made me think it was in Brooklyn when they were like it was like the bridges.
Hmm.
Yes.
Like it was like a low angle of the bridges like this. And so I was like, damn, is they in New York? And then after some shortly after that scene was when I was trying to figure out where it happened because I was like, that kind of looks like New York, but it's not New York. And then they did another pan out of like the bridges again, but it was like from a different angle. And I was like, oh, that's New Orleans. And then that's kind of when I found it out. But it wasn't like an immediate, I knew where it was.
I can't tell if that was intentional either.
Right.
Like
Because
they,
they shot it in Louisiana. Like if you go when you get to the
right.
credits, where I did, it took me until the credits.
I
I got the
found out in
clue.
the credits that it was shot in New Orleans. Yeah.
It like they have the thank yous and they have all the right
So
things in
I
there.
couldn't tell. They have a couple of shots of the skyline,
Yeah.
and sometimes that can be a giveaway, but it really just looked like a skyline. There's no real like factor to it that said this is obviously New Orleans.
There's a handful of like these overhead drone type shots. I don't know if they're
Hmm.
drone shots this specifically, but
They
there's
are. There's a
overheads.
drone photographer in the credits, so
Okay, so
yes.
there's these droney shots that are just straight up above, and they're showing the grid of these things. You can see some car chase stuff in those
Yeah.
scenes and things like that. And then there's a few shots, kind of these interstitials that show New Orleans, essentially. I guess it's supposed to be New Orleans, but like where all the action takes place in this film feels, and again, I can't say I've spent a ton of time in New Orleans to really say this. Really, the shots feel very neighborhood and very suburban. Definitely residential, not commercial. Most of what we see, I would not say conveys New Orleans in the way I'd say we did a movie this season
Bending
called
the
Bending the
rules.
Rules,
Yeah.
which is another WWE film
And
starring
it
Edge.
started in the French Quarter.
Started in the French Quarter.
You
It was
can't mistake it.
entirely clear that it was New Orleans. They made it abundantly clear from the opening credits
I'm
exactly where it
guessing the
was.
WWE just shoots in New Orleans.
Well, I mean, they must be getting tax breaks in Louisiana.
Yeah, that
There's
must be
tax breaks,
it. I mean,
right?
that's it, right?
Have
What
to
other
be.
explanation do you have for why? Because nobody in this film has a an accent that suggests that they are from Louisiana. There's
The what?
no
Yeah, this is the most accentless
affect
Southern town.
affectless.
Nothing.
So,
I want to ask a question.
oh please.
Are any of us Trey Songz fans? Are we fans of Trey Songz music?
Mr. Steal Your Girl. I wouldn't say I'm a fan, but
Yeah, yeah.
I grew up listening to it because of my mom.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Like
Hmm.
that's my kind of like intro to a lot of R&B, honestly, in general. She was listening to it, so I know of his music, but am I finna turn on some Trey songs now? No, no, not anyway. No, definitely not.
No, and I question the need for him to be the star of this film. Like what the star turn, where was this coming from?
Well, he had a handful of movies under his belt prior
Yeah,
to
sure.
this, he did like, and it's a wild selection if you look at it
Right.
in total. Like he started with in 2010, he did a Christian feature called Preacher's Kid. He followed that in 2013 with a Texas Chainsaw 3D, a reboot of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Whoa.
where he has a much more prominent role, by the way. And then that same year, he was in a romantic comedy called Baggage Claim.
No
With
shit.
honestly, I know Jill Scott's in it. I don't know who else is in that one, but it's
So
definitely like he's like done like four movies, and this was the fourth and final.
Oh
this is
wow.
it.
This is it. He
Oh
stopped
That's
doing
wow.
movies after this. I
ah,
think
Got to smoke one for Trey Songz movie career.
I'm not surprised, but like it is, that's just sort of the hard truth of something like this is that
The
he
R
does
truth of it.
the R truth. Fine, fine, Jeff. The R truth of it. Jesus Christ. We're gonna try to make sense of what happens in this film, but I think you have to start with the sheer fact that this is cast in a way that feels cynical right off
Specific,
the jump. It's like,
specifically the
because
scene that's behind you.
yeah, the first
Like,
R truth
if you
scene.
flip that and R Truth is the star of this film, and he throws Trey Songz against a, I guess, made out of cardboard trailer, double wide,
Yeah, that
and
Airstream.
bends it, like it would be a lot more believable than Trey Songz throwing R Truth's jacked body against a trailer.
yeah.
There's a number of situations where our truth would be more believable in this role than Trey Songz is,
One
where
hundred
he's,
percent.
yeah, I feel like we've gone this far without like explaining the plot of this movie to people. And because we're not advising you to watch this movie, I do want to make clear
Does it
for
get a
anybody
cabbages
listening,
warning? We can
we'll
make that
see, we'll
decision.
see. But I'm just saying, I'm already saying I'm not advising people to watch
Yeah,
this
I
film to
wouldn't watch
start
this
with.
one.
But it's basically about there were these four kids who kind of grew up being stick up kids together and acting up. And then those people, uh, when at a particular time came upon an opportunity that fell into their lap very suddenly, and one of them committed murder and went away for the murder. And
Right.
15 years later
As a
is when most of
youth.
the, as a youth, 15 years later, it catches up. This person is released from prison. One of those kids has gone, not only just gone straight, but has become a cop. And the other
Very
two kids are all, everyone's still around. They're
everyone's
all,
like on the straight and narrow except the
yeah,
guy coming out of prison.
everyone's now ostensibly in their
Now,
30s.
before we explain what happens with the getting out of prison character,
Mhm.
what was his name?
His name is Jake.
Jake. Before we get into Jake, I just want to note something that really bothered me about the film. It was one of
Okay.
many things that bothered me
Yeah.
about the film. He went to prison at like 15.
Yeah.
When he came out, everyone was 42. Like, ain't no way those are 30 I'm sorry, I was 30 once, and that's
Yeah.
not like they're like grizzled and old, and everybody's got a bunch of kids. Like, I don't know, man. These are pretty old dudes
Like
for
they
it
look
having been, they were
like
all like
they're closer
12 or
to, they
13.
look like close to your or my age, Jeff, and
Yeah.
don't look like they're close to Chester's age.
No,
Chester's
they
closer to
don't.
30 than the rest of us.
I don't understand how all of them got really, really old
I
except for
mean,
our main man.
there's a lot of suspension of disbelief in this film. Yeah, there's a
I know
lot
there
of
is,
that.
but like that was really like right off the bat, I was like, wait, he's supposed to be 30? All these people are supposed to be 30.
Mm.
Like, how old are his brothers are like 60?
His brother, well, the guys who play his brothers are really interesting. Before we really talk about what happens in this plot,
Uh-huh.
is that the guys who play his brothers are both professional stuntmen.
Hmm.
Oh wow.
They're like that. They're like guys who are in
Oh,
like the
that
biggest
makes some
movies,
sense.
blockbusters. They do stunt work. They're stunt
Huh.
coordinators. They are those guys. So it
And they
explains
don't
like,
particularly have lines, but you remember them because they're menacing.
yes, and also they do appear in one of the few scenes in the film where there is truly action that involves physicality. That isn't
Right.
just two men kind of roughing each other up on the ground. You know,
Throwing you against
it's
the trailer.
so like there's less of that. But yeah, you have that coming into play. These actors are definitely too old to be playing these roles, but it all stops mattering the moment you realize that Jake coming out of prison is so fucked up from the experience that he's deciding to spend you know, his first 24 hours out of prison becoming a mass murderer.
Mm.
And that's
Yeah.
and now Trey Songz as the cop has to stop him.
We don't
And
exactly know how long it's been. Like, we don't know the exact moment he got out of prison. There's no clocks or anything. I looked
yeah,
for that second time around.
yeah. But
But
it
we have to
and
believe that within 24 hours, he was like, I am pumped to get out and I want to get my money and I want to have sex to these everyone's got to die until someone kills me.
The film begins and ends in
He didn't
daylight.
even try freedom. He didn't even like put it on and just walk around. He had walking around money. He had it all.
He had money. He could have. He had fuck you money. He could have gone to
Yeah.
South America.
Mhm.
That's what they're saying. He was going to go to South America.
Yeah.
He should have gone to South America.
Why would you even bring, was it just to throw? All right, let's just get into it. So this guy becomes a mass murderer
Yeah.
during the film.
Hmm.
And I wondered, you know, maybe I'm just confused by the movie. I was
Yeah.
confused by the
I
movie.
was confused by that movie.
Uh, maybe, maybe I'm just off, but like it just, there was no switch flipped. We have no reason for this murdering to begin. Like even the jail excuse,
Mhm.
yeah, I know he's mad, but like he goes on a spree and all of it seems to be centered around the idea that like Trey Songz, not who he says he is.
He's not a good person.
He's the only cop that isn't who he says he is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Like,
very
dude,
like
I don't know, Jake. I think you're just specious on this one.
it was interesting. And I definitely feel like Jake, he I mean, he snapped in the store. But it's like you said, there was no like catalyst for him to like do that. It was very random. And was it like something that he was planning since he got out? I honestly felt like he planned on killing them as soon as they wanted their share of the money. That's what I thought the first time I seen it, just
Hmm.
The
based on how he
the
reacted.
murders of the two like henchmen slash friends from 15 years ago,
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally believe it. Absolutely makes sense. He baited him. He didn't like. He was mad at all his friends. Totally understand that vengeance. That vengeance could have come at any time. It did not need to be immediate. And then he absolutely didn't need to shoot a bitch in the chest
literally.
just for like roll. It was like I'm leaving. He was like pop. No, you're not.
Like
How dare you leave at the same time as me?
so crazy. Yeah, nah, he definitely snapped. And I do you think that was just like plot progression? Like they just needed to get that off?
So as the having watched it twice expert, the second time around, there's sort of this comes from flat acting and bad dialogue, right? Like where we don't understand motivations. We deal with this a lot on the pod. You'd be shocked to know how many bad movies we've watched for this thing. But essentially, when you deliver something flat, no one knows what the motivation behind the next thing is. They're in the car going to, and he baits dude into going into the store.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is supposed to be like, I have a plan in place. The plan is I've got a foolproof way to get him to the spot so that whoever's there dies. That's just like not, it's just not like conveyed in the dialogue and it doesn't make any sense. And we get nothing from his time in prison other than he leaves and he didn't like it.
In your like typical cat and mouse thriller, which is kind of what this is
What
trying
it's
to
trying
be,
to be, yeah.
the bad guy is like two steps ahead, is always like a little bit further along than your protagonist. And so, it requires more
Right.
ingenuity on the part of your hero to get past
Right.
those
So I
points.
think the intention was that he was ahead by a step,
But he was ahead by
but the
maybe half a
delivery and the
step.
execution was
Half.
so bad that you're like, these people, like, I am fine with people dying in movies. And I was like, what are you doing? Why are you killing these people?
He just seems like
Like, take
he
one
seems
as a
like he's
hostage at least or something. I don't
he
understand.
just seems like he's winging it for like 90% of his spree.
And I
Like,
know that there's money involved, but for how much money it is and how it could change these criminals' lives, the way the money or cops, the
yeah.
way the money is treated is the funniest part of this movie. The money gets strangled, shot, thrown, like it's just like murdered over and over. Like everyone in the movie is letting you know we are not here for this $700,000 bag. We
It's
are
like
here to humiliate a cop into admitting he's kind of not a good dude.
it's also
That's
like
all of us are in on this fucking plot to
when
make
have
sure
you
everyone knows this cop sucks.
when have you watched a movie of this sort where money wasn't the motivation?
Never. It is original in that facet.
The money is the motive. Weezy said it
Kind of,
best.
but they say it over and over again. It's not about the money. I don't care about the money. He shoot like, and then everyone who gets the money is careless and just doesn't seem to give a shit about this bag full of life-changing paper.
Yeah, I don't
I
understand.
don't understand it at all. But every time something bad happened to the money, I just couldn't help but laugh my ass off because the other funniest part of this film, and what really the second time around was the only juice left worth squeezing,
Mm.
was how horrible a cop Trey Songz was.
Oh my God, he's the
Every
worst.
decision he made was the wrong one.
Literally
he
the same.
lost he lost two cars in like 30 minutes to the same dude,
Yes.
and guns and clips and family members more than once. All of these are more than once. Money, evidence, everything. He was just like, I'm going to do whatever I can to destroy everything in my path so that no one else can figure out that I'm not actually like a really good dude, which nobody thought in the begin to begin with.
Yeah, literally no one. I didn't. I honestly was kind of like surprised that he was the main character because I didn't watch like a trailer or anything. I just kind of like watched it,
Same.
Mm.
and so I was like, "Oh, Trey Songz is the main character." And I mean, he's not a necessarily a good person in real life, but it's like mm, it wasn't. It didn't feel like too abnormal, but it did feel like kind of forced in a way.
Yeah, I think it.
100%.
I think he's just not believable in this particular mode.
That's
Like
true too.
this darkness that the Jake character is trying to bring out of him by, doing this loose cannon chaos agent stuff out there, trying to ruin his family and trying to, ruin his reputation and all of this stuff, you know, all in the name of some perverse idea of friendship. And like Trace, for the flaws in this film, Trey Songz just not up for it. It's not entirely his fault. Like this is where you go, like we got to talk about the people who made this movie, the director, the writers. And that's what's really fucking wild about this is the guys who wrote this film absolutely should have known better than to do whatever the hell this was. Like the two guys, the writers are these guys, Michael Finch and Carl Jadzuzek. And forgive me if I've butchered that pronunciation. Uh, Finch, before this movie, he co-wrote Predators. Um, and then he did The November Man, he did Hitman Agent 47. So he's done some movies. And then he did a couple of WWE films. He did one called Countdown starring Kane and Dolph Ziggler. And he did another one called Interrogation, which
Damn it. When we
co-starred.
say them out loud, that means we're going to end up watching them. We're going to fucking watch them.
The other one was called Interrogation with starring co-starring Edge and Lana. And then this same guy ends up getting a screenwriting credit on like John Wick 4. So like
Damn.
there's he
Whoa.
could do something real. And the other
I
guy,
mean,
Carl, like he did
to be
Trespass that
fair,
like
like if you were like a seasoned, maybe not like seasoned, might not be the word. He'd been a sport or a feature writer for a minute
yeah, yeah.
and had done some things of import, right?
Yes.
And then someone
As
is
did his
like,
co-writer.
churn out crap for our crap factory.
Yeah.
You're pretty sure it's going to be bad when you write it, right? Like that's my
Sure.
belief.
Yeah, you're not
So
putting
like
your
I
best
get
work
the
in there.
half-hearted dialogue. It's just when half-hearted dialogue is also poorly delivered.
But the
That's when we
worst,
get into a point where like this I don't know what kind of movie this is. Was
right.
this a horror movie?
I don't know what this is supposed to be.
Was it it was like a serial killer movie,
Yeah, it was like a
I
set. It was
guess.
supposed to be like a seven, right? It's supposed to be like a seven, that
Right, but
sort of
without,
thing, right?
any of the nuance at all.
Yeah, and again in seven, the killer has a plan
What's in the box, Jake?
and is two steps ahead of the cops the whole
Yeah.
time. And this what really kills me is that because you're looking at these screenwriters who've done better things. The other guy, like he was like a credited writer on that Tom Cruise film Oblivion. He's also worked on the Reverend. He also was a writer on that Joel Schumacher movie Trespass with Nicolas Cage and Nicole Kidman. Like he did some stuff.
That's a strikeout for me, and I usually watch all Nicolas Cage films. Now I gotta watch that.
But here's the thing: the guy who directed this film is like kind of a big deal screenwriter. Even though he didn't write this film, he's the guy who directed this guy's John Pogue. And he had his big break, Hollywood big break as a screenwriter. He kind of sold a spec script that got a lot of attention, but didn't get made into a movie. But then he he wrote 1998's U.S. Marshals, which is
The
the Fugitive
follow-up
sequel, the
to
follow-up to the
Fugitive, yeah.
Fugitive. And then he did that movie, The
It was
Skulls.
fun.
He did that movie, The Skulls, about like secret societies at Yale. He was a Yale grad, so he sort of built up some of that conspiracy stuff around there. Then he co-wrote the
Nobody polices the
2000,
police like the police, huh?
and then we really get into the thing where like we start to see like, oh, this guy actually makes crap because he co-wrote the 2001 reboot of Jeff. Are you ready for this?
Don't do this to me.
Rollerball,
Oh my God.
which we watched. It's the
He
LL Cool
wrote,
J
wait, he
Rollerball.
wrote Rollerball?
He's a co-writer of Rollerball. Yes, the LL Cool J Rollerball,
Oh boy, we covered that, and it is a piece of shit.
and he also co-wrote 2002's Ghost Ship. And then after a few years, he started
Never
doing.
seen it.
After a few years, he started directing
Yeah,
movies.
it's a ghost.
So in the 2010s, he started directing movies. He did like the sequel to the movie Quarantine. He did another thing called The
I
Quiet
missed the first one.
Ones. And then he does
Quiet
this.
ones.
After this, he directs Deep Blue Sea 3 and a sequel to the Schwarzenegger movie Eraser. Um, so like I'm just
People,
pointing I'm pointing out
holy
I'm pointing
shit.
out that like this was somebody who had a very promising career start and went to this point. And you won't be surprised to learn that for him, while it wasn't the end of his career, he hasn't done all that much since Blood Brother.
Yeah.
So this is what we deal with on
Shocker.
this show. This is the shit that we deal with on this show. We end up picking things that are
Listen,
truly atrocious.
Literally, it's
it's really tough to, and anyone, pretty much anyone can attest to this. Like, there's a long season, and there is a shortage of movies starring wrestlers that are watchable, bearable films.
For sure.
You'll do it because you like wrestling or for like it's a gimmick or something. But like once you get past like the top 5 or 6, it starts to really, I mean,
murky
the fall
waters.
off is crazy. From The Rock to Hulk Hogan, that's a
Mm.
crazy fall off.
Plummet.
Just an absolute
Plummet
plummet.
is
Because Hulk
crazy.
was not in good movies.
No.
That's just how it goes.
The
He
Rock
wasn't
has
in good
some
movies.
Rock has some good movies. It's like Hulk Hogan does not. At
Were
the
the
same
Rock movies
time,
WWE movies?
some of them were, some of them were.
Okay.
He
But
did
then
a
he
couple, yeah.
but then he branched out beyond that and has made his own way. And he just got nominated for a Golden Globe for
Smashing Machine.
Smashing Machine. So he's
Yeah.
clearly making some good choices for himself.
I don't know. This was such a weird year for movies. I have no idea who's going to win anything in that show.
This film, obviously not Oscar material, did not even get deigned to be nominated for Razzies. I don't think it was on the radar long enough. But there is a thing about this film that I feel like if in a number of directors' hands or in other writers' hands, it would be super interesting. Instead, it's just maybe
Right.
the most confusing thing about this film. And that is a little place, and I want to get you guys' impressions on this. A little place called The Rat, the mousetrap, mouse met trap maze themed nightclub
Oh,
that
that
they
they
go
were
to.
at the end where they were having the shootout or whatever.
Yeah.
I have a specific question about the rat.
I guess my question is just what did you guys think when you saw The Rat?
Yeah, where are you at on this place, Chester? Would you play there?
Would I play at the
At the
Rat?
The
rat?
Rat
Like you can't see the fans, but they're there.
in the maze.
You know the tickets sold, but they're in the maze and they can hear you, but you can't see them.
And there's bottle service in the maze.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. It sounds
I don't
like
know what they
it,
pay,
like
unfortunately.
you know, what I mean, it sounds kind of immersive, like an experience.
Right.
So I would do it
This would
just
kind of be
to
my
say that
dream.
I did it. Yeah, but the way that they had it going on, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if
Yeah,
I'd want to be there that night, you know.
yeah.
It's it's like Sleep No More, but with Don Julio. Like it's
Yeah.
that's I
It,
don't
is this something that New Orleans had? Obviously, they built
I
this set.
can't believe this is a real ever was a real thing. Somebody
That it's
idea
got
of
to
a
be based
nightclub.
on. So you don't just think that idea up and then just toss it away in a shitty film. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
guess.
what do you? What I want to know more.
There's probably a club that has some type of layout like that. I would imagine so. It might not be in New Orleans, but I imagine that there's a club like that somewhere on the
Think it's
planet.
somewhere in Europe,
That would make more sense. Amsterdam,
It feels
right?
like
some
something out of a
crazy.
fucking Hostel movie, to be honest.
It does. Like the chances that some wild shit is going to happen is going to be way higher because like it's a maze. People are going to get lost, and all of a sudden there's a stranger like trying to talk to you drunk in a loud place, and it's just you and your friends and this person, and they're wasted and trying to explain things. That's
It
like the key to weird.
and it's also not to compare this to a movie that is so much better than it. And especially Hassan Johnson being in this film certainly plays into that. But like Belly begins with one of the greatest filmed scenes in any film. Hype Williams did
Man,
such a tremendous job of that, what he's seen, where the club robbery happens. And so, like, when Trey Songz starts to ascend those stairs to, I guess, the office where the bad guys are, where Jake and his brothers are, I'm like, are we about to get like a real Belly vibe here? Are we about to get something like
I
that?
thought a couple of times we were almost there, and then it just sucked.
It just sucked. It
It
just
just
didn't
sucked,
happen
and
at
it didn't look
all.
that great.
We didn't get anything out of it. I feel
This is
like
like Belly if it sucked and didn't look in any like anything.
I
If it
feel
sucked even
like
worse.
the rat as a concept is probably inspired by some piece of kind of immersive art. And I
Yeah.
think whether it's performance based or there's something like that that's in there. At the same time, there's also like an argument to be made for like somebody had an idea of a concept and had to execute it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And then what ended up happening was they go, well, I guess we can't really make this work
Right.
as a fully immersive thing, but we can make it look very close to that. It can look very
So
similar to that
weird.
experience. Because like
It's a very weird scene. It resolves nothing, right? I mean, like we now know that that guy likes to go to strip clubs. That's basically all we learned is that at least before his imminent death or arrest, he's having a good time with his freedom.
but it's just it's hard to really gauge. You deal with this thing and you deal with
Right.
this sort of this experience and you go, I can't tell you why this is in this film, why what its purpose is. It is a set
No.
piece. You get to see it and you go, oh, okay, cool. Maybe something interesting is about to happen, but you never really get there. It never really turns into what you want it to turn into. You never really get the film you want it to be, which is
Maybe just a DJ set at that place.
truly
You know what I mean? Like maybe not a full
not
performance,
even
but
gonna
we'll play some jams for you.
A few little jams.
I listen,
yeah.
we have to cover at some point we have to cover a little bit of motivation and the ending to this film, which is
Let's do it. Let's do it.
an absolute shit show. But it comes back to this question of motivation where like we don't know why this dude snapped per se, other than he's mad at his friends. Because like if I get out of prison and one of my friends is waiting, and when the other two, granted they didn't come visit me in prison, but the other two
Not a good look.
roll up to their first meeting with me with 2 bags of money, untouched money. I don't know. I feel like bygones are bygones. Let's go to the rat. Let's go hang out. Like,
Let's go hang at the
I
rat.
think we get to the rat
Literally.
so late in the film for him. I'm like, yo, first stop on the bus. We go, we hang out with mom until she goes to sleep, and then we're hitting the
The
fucking rat.
the rat.
We are
Yeah.
going to the rat.
It should be part of it. It should be part
So
of it.
I'm, you know, aside from I just don't like the motivations of this newly released, I guess, ex-con. I don't understand why he's like sick, murder the morning after I get out. That's what's up.
I think
We'll
he
have
was
a good time
always
tonight,
crazy
but
though.
maybe.
I do think because you gotta in the beginning of the movie, Um, bro had the gun, and Jake took the gun from him and shot the cop. And he kind of looked back at him like, man, this dude's kind of off. He's kind of crazy. So like, I just feel like Jake was always off. Like he was just always kind of
The
off.
issue, I
Like,
believe that, but the issue is that throughout the film, you've got Trey Songz telling us it didn't used to be like that. Like he's actually a really good dude. Like I went to pick up, like we were friends back in the day, and he needed a ride, and I gave it to him. Like he's covering for him the whole time.
I mean, I
But
think
if he knew he was, first of all, he knew this was crazy, then he'd do something. Secondly, this person never would have left jail. They would have been killing people in jail. If the taste for blood was all this dude needed to turn into a killer,
mm,
plenty of
mm,
opportunities to like get after it in jail. You're right on
yeah,
top of a whole bunch of other
valid.
crazy motherfuckers. Let's do it.
yeah.
I
I
don't, you know
think
what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
I
like why
think
wait?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
like for a 15-year plan, this is one of the worst plans I've ever seen.
what really fucks me up with the ending is less of the kind of the final showdown is sort of anticlimactic. They kind of just sit with each other for a bit, and that is, and then suddenly
Yeah, don't they crack a beer or something?
they crack a beer, they share
Yeah, they're
it,
like
or
drinking a
he's got
beer
a
and being
bottle of
like,
something
"Well,
or whatever. He's just
we've
sharing a
reached the
drink.
end of the film. We did it, buddy."
Right. It's just like
It's
these
just
guys have
awful.
like the man kidnapped your family members. He like terrorized you. He's ruined so much of your experience. And like this is the weirdest thing for me because Trey Songz's solution to this is to handcuff the guy and take the money and run
Money he already had in his hands and
forever.
shot when Fetty Wap was like, "Take this money." He was like, "No."
He could have taken the money
Symbolically,
and
I'll
run.
shoot the money.
He could have taken the money and ran so much
50
earlier.
times. He
At
could have
any
done it during
point,
the 15 years. This
that's what I'm
obvious not
saying.
genius was in the fucking slammer. You could have been living the sweet life with your girl and your adopted daughter or whatever was going on there.
He could have disappeared at any
South
point
America,
in
baby.
time. At any point in time with that money. It was life-changing money and he didn't do it. And he's the only person in the film who seemed to be motivated by money in any real way, but only at the very end. And that makes no fucking
No
sense.
fucking sense. Fetty Wap
None.
hands him a bag and he goes, "I'm not interested in money."
Yeah.
And then later is like, "You know what? It does sound good. Money is cool." I'm
Like, is
sorry.
that supposed to be the key difference? Is that now
I
he
think
does care
that
about money and
over
that's who he
time in this
really
movie, we're
is?
supposed to see this person blossom into the evil person they were.
Right.
Mm.
I
That's
guess.
not really explained very well or acted very well or executed very well in the film, but I think having watched it a couple of times, I think that's what they were going for. Was this
But the
was
evil
about
person with like Trey Songz?
Yeah, like to bring
yeah,
out
like
like
he was trying to bring out the evil in Trey Songz
Oh,
for
for
whatever
sure.
reason.
Because he said they were, I mean, they were demons for sure.
Right. And they were
demons.
So
going to hell together.
I get that. But like misery loves company. I think maybe he was internally miserable and just wanted to, I don't know, share that with the people who cared about him. Is super fucked up, but I don't really see any other point in like that the movie would be trying to make other than that shit is wild out here.
Yeah,
That's it. That's the point of the movie is like, isn't this wild?
it's wild.
Like just crazy.
This is wild, dog. He just listen, he snapped.
Yeah.
The movie never tries to explain it, but they're just like, "Hey man, what happens when your best friend snaps? Here's what we think it'll look like."
Now look a little something like this.
We also get a lot of voiceover
Some
from
narration
like we get a lot of narration to like move us through acts. All from
unnecessarily.
right, all from this cop who this dude is so bad at his job that he like never calls once for backup to any of these places.
Literally
Never calls for backup, never wears a vest, often is unarmed because people have taken his gun.
taken the enemy has taken his gun, not
I don't
just
know
normal
how he's
people.
getting from place to place. He loses two cars. I don't want to go through the whole list again, but the one that got me the most is didn't at all try to figure out if this homicidal maniac has a gun.
At the very end, in the climax of the
This is
film.
the end of the film. He rolls up, gives the dude a beer, attacks him and chains him to a pole, and then is like shocked when he gets shot in the back. He's like,
Like you
oh,
didn't pat the man
like
down, bro. You did
Like,
not pat
he's
the
a
man.
cop. He's a cop, right?
like just figure out if he had like clock if he has a gun or not
Standard
before you make
fucking
this crazy
procedure.
move.
I just, ugh,
It's crazy to me. Like
Yeah,
it would have honestly would have just been better if he was like a regular dude, an ex-cop or something
yeah.
like that, where like
Mm.
he's not
He's,
performing the duty of like
Yeah, like his skills are a little rusty type shit.
terrible. He like loses family member. He can't fucking. He's calling people
Yeah,
on his own
that's
phone.
crazy.
He's like just dumping information on people and then
Sloppy.
being like, "Cover for me." Like, what cover for you? People are dying, bro.
but,
Your
Sloppy.
friends are dying, and they're like, "What's up with your boy?" And
mm.
your advice is to be like, "Nah, he's cool.
But on
He's
top
cool.
of it
Don't worry
all,
about him."
too, on top of it all, too, and I think we can probably close out with this. The real flaw of this is that there is no reason for Trey Songz to be a cop in this movie.
No.
Really. I mean, trying to get revenge for his partner being killed during that assault on Precinct 13 esque shit that happens at one point.
We haven't
There's
even
really
discussed
no
that.
reason why he needs to be a cop. None of the consequences in this have really seemed to be impacting his career in any real way. And the fact that he's just leaving with the money means he's not even looking to deal with, facing the music about what has gone on. He's just, I'm just out of here. Like,
Really, the
and
only person he assaults is our truth.
yes,
There are
with
cases where
with with the syringe.
he
Yeah.
punches our friend Jake a few times because they're in
Yeah.
fights.
And
But
I guess
he
the
like
guy,
only actually goes after our truth and like
yeah.
the criminals at the initial drug bust, which
Yeah, and also
was a
the
very
guys
confusing
the
scene.
guys in Fetty Wap's thing when he gives him when Jake slips him the shiv in his pocket to fight off Fetty Wap's.
And why? Why does he do that?
He's not done with it. It's like a cat.
Right.
It's like,
Right, the
bro, we're
cat,
not
yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not done with this.
So it
But
just
why?
but why is he a cop in this? Because
Why
clearly
is he a cop?
there's no need for him to be a cop, really. There's no
Yeah, you really could have been like anything, like a paramedic.
yeah, he could have just been a guy. Like he
X
doesn't have to
No.
Just
be.
been a
Like
guy.
one thing that action movies do really well now
Yeah.
is like if someone has this particular set of skills, they're either a dawning superhero or X-Mil.
And
Some sort
fine.
of X-Mil. I'm like, cool. Then they got trained to do some wild shit and they know how to do wild shit. Got it. This was just like this dude is one of the worst cops on the planet.
Yes.
Isn't it weird that his friend killed people?
And
Isn't
why
that clever that he's a cop and his friend's a killer? It's nonsense.
anyway. So in conclusion,
That's crazy.
Chester, we're sorry.
Yeah, no,
We're
I
sorry,
that's
man.
on us. That's on
I
us.
wanted to give you something that you would have liked, and I'm guessing you did not like this movie. No.
The movie wasn't bad. I
Okay.
honestly did not think it
Whoa.
was a terrible movie.
Okay.
I
I
just
like
feel
it.
like I didn't really think it was a bad movie. I just feel like there were parts of it that I didn't understand, but there's parts of a lot of movies that I don't understand.
Hmm.
That
Fair enough.
no, do I wish our truth was in it more?
Yeah.
Of course, 100%. I definitely do think that they did my boy dirty. In the scenes that he was in, and like you
Yeah,
guys
he
were
was
kind
there
of
just to
saying,
get beat up.
you know what I'm saying? It kind of painted him in a bad light. Like, if he were to like, I don't know. I heard something like The
He was
Rock has a
an
clause.
abusive pimp and arms dealer
You feel me? Like The Rock
in a
has a clause
trailer.
where he can like never lose or something like that
Right, right,
in
yeah.
his contract. Like, our truth needs some of that energy. You
Archer
feel me?
stayed
Like,
losing in this movie.
you know what I mean?
He definitely overdosed or was forced overdosed.
You
We
feel
don't
me?
find out what happens to him after that
No, he's
scene.
like after we're so dude breaks into the trailer, which like he didn't like this trailer to begin with. He just did everything he could to hurt this guy's shitty home.
Home.
And he like bursts in there and like sticks him with different needles full of, or is it one needle that has a lot of
One needle with a lot.
with a lot of the drug
Drugs.
is not
Drug.
explained, but like it can't be great to have it jammed into your neck when it's obviously 3 doses worth or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Like R-Truth just stays losing. He's just having a
Literally
rough couple of days.
every every scene that he's in, this man's taking an L.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And
Jake getting
then,
out of jail was the worst thing to ever happen to R-Truth.
yeah. And to that point, our Truth never made another movie after this.
Mm.
The Cabbages curse.
Well, Jeff, we got through it, huh?
Yeah, hi, Roy. Listen, I don't think I'd love to give this thing the Cabbages warning, but I don't think we can give it the Cabbages warning. At least one of us didn't hate it. That's kind of a rule for the Cabbages warnings that
Yeah,
everybody walks away mad.
Chester said it wasn't that bad.
And it wasn't like vile or reprehensibly, you know what I mean? Like it was just kind of a killer tale that didn't deliver.
It was poorly
That's
done.
not Cabbage's warning material.
Poorly done isn't enough.
No.
Being like subpar, being a mediocre thriller isn't
And being
enough.
like wildly offensive to sometimes your intended audience, but at
Yeah.
least, giant audiences, swaths of people for no reason. That's
I
a big
didn't
part of the cabbages warning, I think.
Yeah, I don't think this kind of gets to the level of so terrible that we have to like advise people against it. I don't think people
Yeah, if
who
you watch the movies before you do this, a couple of people have told me they do. Well,
yeah,
just like have another plan ready so that you're not totally devoted.
it's not a lot of your time actually, and I don't think you're going to enjoy it, but you're going to be like, "Well, I watched it." So I don't
That's
feel
that's
like you're
essentially
gonna
the motto of WWE Films, right? Well, I watched it.
I mean, that seems to be the track record. I mean, I sort of feel like I disliked bending the rules more than I disliked this movie. I'm not
Fair.
saying whether one is better or worse than the other. I'm just saying I disliked bending the rules for what it was doing to the genre that it was pretending to be in or trying to be in,
Right. I
aspiring.
actively disliked it, but did we give that one the cabbages warning?
No, we didn't. It
Yeah.
still doesn't feel that. I feel like that's kind of the danger of these WWE films is they're bad.
This was better, not markedly better, but better than bending the rules.
I guess. But like all of these WWE films, they're not
Because it didn't try to
bad.
be a comedy.
They're not bad to the level of completely being horrible. They're just
It's not good.
so phenomenally mediocre. But it's not like I'm sitting here being like, I can't believe I watched this pure
When did this
slop.
one
It
come
makes
out?
me. This is a 2018 film.
Yeah, so we're at the like beginning phase of just play on my phone movies.
No, yeah, yeah. Second
And
screen
like
time.
we need at that point, we're at the sort of tail end of we need to fill up streaming services with
Yeah.
content.
Concept.
So like we're gonna crap out a piece of crap.
And this is one of those things that comes out like it gets a very, very, very limited theatrical run,
Right, essentially the straight to video of the time.
but it's concurrent with video on demand. It's VOD is at the same
But it's
time.
not a Tubi movie,
No, it's not. I mean, I didn't.
surprisingly enough.
I mean, I think that might just be a licensing issue. I ended up watching this on like Amazon Prime with ads, but yeah, this feels like the kind of thing you would see on Tubi. Like so many
Don't
WWE
give
things are
them
there.
don't give them airwaves. How
I mean,
dare
I'm
you?
just pointing out just what it is. But I gotta say that, like, given the number of WWE films that we've watched so far,
Hmm.
everything from No Holds Barred to The Condemned, Bending the Rules, and now this movie, I think we gotta take a break from the WWE
I
movies.
have been in favor of that for since the first one, since the Stone Cold Steve Austin John.
I
I've been like, God,
know,
if that's right now, that's kind of the high watermark. Because that might actually be the best movie of all of these. Because there's at least like a plot and the escape is an escape. Like this thing was like a serial killer thing that just didn't find its footing.
and I know there's a way for us out of this because we
Yeah.
have escape routes in this. Yes, the bulk of the films on our long list are WWE films. That's just the reality. But there are films about wrestling that we could
Hmm.
talk about. There are films that are outside of WWE that wrestlers are in not that many of those, but there are films that exist in there that can alleviate the burden of the Vince McMahon entertainment schlock that we're getting here. And I think we can do it. We need the right guests to help us out of it, though. We need somebody who's really going to get us to that point. And I think we can do it. I think we've got some good people lined up. So
Okay.
let's
All right.
let's stay optimistic. It's a new
Listen, there
year,
are good ones.
new
We
us.
have barely dipped our toes
Yeah.
into the admittedly shallow puddle of good movies with wrestlers in them or
Yeah.
good movies about wrestling.
We're,
We
we're
have a lot in store.
yeah, we're only really at the halfway point of a season. There's more for us to come, and I think we can pull ourselves out of the muck. I think we can do it. I
I
believe in
believe
us.
it.
I believe in us.
I believe in us.
New year, new you.
The trash is here for both of us.
The trash belongs to both of us. The
The
trash belongs to
trash belongs to both of us.
trash belongs to both of
The
us.
trash belongs to both of
The,
us.
the trash belongs to both of us.
The trash belongs to both
The
of us.
trash belongs to both of us.
It's the Cabbages Podcast Network.